As the United States approaches another crucial political milestone, the focus shifts to the often overlooked process of transitioning from one presidential administration to the next. For many presidents, this period is marked by meticulous planning, strategic decision-making, and a careful selection of qualified individuals to fill key government positions. But for Donald Trump, the transition following his 2024 election is proving to be anything but smooth. Despite a strong backing from a conservative media empire, including Rupert Murdoch's influential Wall Street Journal, Trump's transition process has been embroiled in chaos, confusion, and an alarming lack of organization. What was once billed as a major political comeback is now being exposed as a series of unforced errors, dismissals, and a level of dysfunction so severe that even Trump's allies in the media can no longer ignore it. In this video, we will explore how Murdoch's Wall Street Journal has reported extensively on the disarray within Trump's transition team and how the former president has responded to these revelations. We will also examine the broader implications of this disorganization and what it signals for Trump's second-term administration if he ever manages to make it through the confirmation process. Murdoch's Wall Street Journal and its critical coverage of Trump's transition. For decades, Rupert Murdoch's media empire has been a staunch ally of Donald Trump, from Fox News to the Wall Street Journal. However, as Trump's transition to the White House begins, Murdoch's outlets have not been shy about reporting the chaos that has unfolded. The Wall Street Journal, a publication traditionally seen as conservative-leaning, has been unflinching in its coverage of the disorganization plaguing Trump's transition efforts. The journal's reporting paints a picture of a team in disarray. Rather than assembling a cohesive, well-organized team to tackle the many challenges of transitioning to the White House, Trump's operation has been plagued by a revolving door of firings, resignations, and public disputes. Murdoch's editorial control over the Wall Street Journal has long been seen as an influential force in shaping public opinion, particularly among conservative readers. This has made its criticism of Trump's team all the more potent. One key area of focus for the Journal has been Trump's apparent disregard for the traditional vetting process when selecting candidates for important government positions. While most presidential administrations take the time to vet candidates thoroughly, checking backgrounds, qualifications, and ethical considerations, Trump's team opted for a more informal approach. In fact, they decided to bypass the normal vetting procedure and take the unorthodox step of conducting background checks on their own, relying on their own internal team rather than the FBI. This decision, which has been widely criticized by experts and former government officials, has led to a series of highly publicized debacles. One notable example is the withdrawal of Chad Chronister, a sheriff from Hillsborough County, who was tapped to head the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. His nomination quickly unraveled after it came to light that he had publicly opposed the reopening of churches during the COVID-19 pandemic and had clashed with Trump allies over pandemic policies. Trump's transition team also faced severe criticism for failing to properly vet Matt Gaetz, a Republican congressman who was briefly considered for a major role in the administration. Gaetz's controversial history, including allegations of sexual misconduct and involvement in a sex trafficking investigation, became a major embarrassment for the Trump team. Gaetz lasted a mere 8 days before he was removed from consideration. For a team that had promised a return to normalcy, such scandals were a major blow. Additionally, Trump's pick for the Department of Defense, a controversial figure with allegations of sexual assault and financial mismanagement, faced multiple setbacks before he was even confirmed. His withdrawal added another layer of instability to an already troubled transition. Trump's response to Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal. Unsurprisingly, Trump did not take kindly to Murdoch's media empire turning its critical gaze on him. For years, Trump has maintained a largely favorable relationship with Fox News and the Wall Street Journal, both of which helped fuel his political rise. However, as his transition has unraveled, Trump has found himself at odds with his once loyal media allies. In a series of public statements, Trump has lashed out at the Wall Street Journal for its critical coverage. In one of his posts on social media, he called the publication becoming more and more obnoxious and unreadable, clearly frustrated by its reporting. Trump's anger stems from what he perceives as a betrayal by Murdoch's outlets. After all, he believes that the Wall Street Journal, being part of Murdoch's media empire, should be supporting him in his efforts to navigate the transition. The Journal's coverage of the firing and resignation of key figures within Trump's team has only fueled Trump's frustrations. He singled out the Journal's headline, "Trump's DEA Pick-Out in Latest Setback," as an example of the media's perceived bias. Trump argued that this headline downplayed his victory in the 2024 election and instead focused on the turmoil within his transition team. Trump's ire is not just limited to the Wall Street Journal. He has also criticized Murdoch directly, suggesting that the media mogul's outlets are more interested in sensationalizing his failures than accurately reporting on his political achievements. This feud between Trump and Murdoch represents a significant shift in the relationship between the two men. What was once a mutually beneficial partnership now appears to be fractured, with Trump blaming Murdoch for contributing to the negative narrative surrounding his transition. The broader implications of Trump's chaotic transition. The chaos within Trump's transition team is not just an embarrassment for him personally, it has broader implications for the future of his administration. Transition periods are meant to set the stage for a new president's policy priorities and ensure that the incoming government is ready to hit the ground running. However, the dysfunction within Trump's team suggests that his second term, if he is able to secure it, could be marked by constant turmoil and inefficiency. Trump's refusal to embrace the traditional vetting process and reliance on internal checks has resulted in a series of high-profile missteps that could undermine his credibility as a leader. His inability to properly manage his transition team raises questions about his capacity to effectively govern once in office. Perhaps the most concerning aspect of Trump's chaotic transition is the potential consequences for the American public. With key positions within the government left vacant or filled by individuals who have been either unqualified or embroiled in scandals, the country could face a leadership vacuum at a time when strong leadership is crucial. Whether it's handling the aftermath of a global pandemic, addressing ongoing international tensions, or managing domestic issues such as healthcare and the economy, the lack of a competent and organized transition process leaves the nation vulnerable. Moreover, Trump's decision to bypass the FBI's traditional background checks in favor of a more informal process opens the door for future corruption and abuse of power. If his team cannot even manage the transition effectively, it's reasonable to question whether they will be able to handle the weight of governing the nation. The dysfunction within Donald Trump's transition team is now a matter of public record, with Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal playing a key role in exposing the disarray. From botched nominations to high-profile resignations, Trump's inability to assemble a coherent and competent team has sparked widespread concern. Trump's response to the Wall Street Journal's coverage has been one of frustration and anger, further fueling the media feud between him and Murdoch's outlets. What was once an alliance built on mutual benefit has now soured, with Trump openly chastising Murdoch for not providing the support he believes he deserves. As the country approaches Inauguration Day, the disarray within Trump's transition team raises serious questions about the future of his administration. If he cannot manage the process of selecting his cabinet and preparing for office, how can he be expected to govern effectively once in power? With the Senate poised to scrutinize his cabinet picks and the country facing a range of challenges, Trump's chaotic transition may be just the beginning of a tumultuous second term, if he even makes it that far. Ultimately, the events surrounding Trump's transition serve as a reminder that leadership is not just about winning elections, but about the ability to govern once in power. With the eyes of the nation watching closely, it remains to be seen whether Trump can overcome the challenges posed by his disorganized transition, or whether it will be the defining feature of his second presidency.